Hello and welcome to another part of my tutorial series. This part should have actually come before the introduction into how to edit with OpenStreetMap. I only realized that afterwards, but I think you maybe haven't missed it really. It's just going to be a short introduction into the user interface. You start by going onto the website www.openstreetmap.org. It looks like this. So up here we have the logo. I refer to that a couple of times in the tutorials when I say click on the OpenStreetMap logo. So that's it up here. And then we have the edit button, which is inactive now because I'm not logged in and I'm also not zoomed in enough. There's a history button and an export button, which we don't really have to bother about now. And then on the far right, we have the login and the sign up button and some other things up here. And up here we have the search bar, and let's type in Ballingarry, which I edited in the other video, and press go, and then it shows you all the Ballingarrys in a list, village, village boundary, so on. So there are quite a few, and you can scroll down, and if you click on more results there will be even more. And it jumps to the first one in the list. I don't know what the reason is for it choosing that one. So that's the search. And then on the far right, we have a plus and a minus button to zoom in and out. By the way, I also forgot to say that it's very handy to have a mouse with a wheel for mapping, because otherwise you'll have to use your touchpad and it's really not that convenient. So plus and minus to zoom in and out, and then show my location, which you can try on your computer. I can't do it because I've disabled that function. And then layers, which I will click now. We see we have 4 layers to choose from. The standard layer, which is the one we see here. I'm just gonna close the search results and the welcome screen, so we have a better view. So a standard layer, then a cycle map, which doesn't make an awful lot of sense for Ballingarry. Let's just go to Limerick and zoom in. And you can see when you zoom in, there's little bicycle symbols here. Those are bicycle shops. You can tell by the name. On Shop Aurora. And then you have these shelters, and over here you can see EV1, the Eurovelo, I think it's a European cycling track. I think it goes all the way to Russia, if I'm not mistaken. And then you can also see here blue lines that mean something, and to find out what they mean, you hit the I button there, which gets you to the legend. I won't do that now, I'll do that in the next step. The next map is transport map. And that shows you railway lines. And also the red ones. Again, I haven't the legend open, so I presume it's maybe bus lines. And then the next one, ÖPNVKarte, is German for public transport map. And you see it's a bit similar. So you have the train track, it's just in a different color. And you have the same red lines here. And there are numbers on it, and they look like they refer to bus lines. And then also taxi stands. And then the last map is the Humanitarian map, which shows all the roads and waterways and things like that, but it also shows the fire station and shops and so on. It might not be really that important for Ireland to have the Humanitarian map, but you see all the maps have different focuses. What's also interesting to know is, let's zoom in on this bridge here. So on the Humanitarian map, you can zoom in really closely. So that's the closest I can zoom into. That's the zoom level is 20, that's up here. And if I click on the standard map, then you see how it zooms out, because that's the highest zoom level the standard map can do is 19. And same with the cycle map. That might not seem relevant to you now, but if you do a shop survey or something like that, and the shops are very close together, or the street numbers, and you want to check up on what you've done, they might not show on the standard map because all the symbols are too close together. See here, for example, well, you see most of the names, but you see blue dots here where there wasn't enough room to display the name with it. But if we click on Humanitarian, you can zoom in more. It shows less now because it's it's not considered important for the Humanitarian one. It's not a good example. So I'll go to somewhere in Kilkenny where I know it works. So if I zoom in on Kieran Street in Kilkenny, where I added all the shop names last week, you see this is the closest I can zoom in, zoom level 19. And you can see most of the numbers, and you can see all the symbols for the different shops, like clothes shop, hairdresser, beauty shop, optician, and so on. But you can't see the names. But if you use the Humanitarian map, you can see that all the names are displayed for all the shops. So if you're doing a survey like that, and that will be another video, and you want to check on what you've added, and you use the standard map and you can't see it, and you think, well, what's the point? And just use the Humanitarian one to see that all the numbers and all the names are there. Again, this is only an example. There might be other features that are not shown on the standard map because of the zoom level, which are shown on the Humanitarian one. Okay, so that's the map layers. Next one is the legend. I have to close that one. I only actually discovered that today. That's why I struggle. So that only seems to work for the standard layer. So click on the legend, and it shows you all the different types of roads like you would have on a paper map. Parks, residential areas, so you see how this area here is all gray. That's because it's defined as a residential area, just debatable, and the pinkish is commercial area. So we have Lower John Street here, a lot of shops, so that's true, but also people live above the shops, so you can't really separate that. And then you can see other things that could be on the map. And then what's also important, and I'm told that feature doesn't exist on the Apple, so it's the share button. So you can either, let's say we've looked for something, let's say we have looked for the Home Rule Club in Kilkenny, probably more than one in the whole of Ireland, and you see the result there, Home Rule Club number 3, John's Quay, Kilkenny, and so on. And if you want to include the marker, you take this box and it adds this blue marker. So the next person that you send the link to opens the map, and the map doesn't just center on the Home Rule Club, but also shows this marker. And you can get a link, which is this one. I'm just copying that and paste it in here so you can see it. It shows the longitude and latitude and the map level and so on. And also a short link, which the long link has HTTPS, blah, 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 www, OpenStreetMap, and so on. and the short link is just osm.org and a shorter version. The node is the spot that the Homebrew Club is defined as. That's the node. And you can also share it as HTML, which makes it possible to put this onto a website. If you have a WordPress website or something and you want to show this part of the map, you can use this iframe. The next one would be GURI. Not sure what that is for. And then the image, if you want to use this, for some reason you want to share a screenshot of the map, which you can also do, on your computer, just do a screenshot. But if you don't know how to do that, you can use this one, and you can set the custom dimensions as I just did. If you go up here, and the cursor turns into this 4-directional one, you can pull this, and if you go on this, the 9 dots, you can move the whole area around. I'm just going to close this here so we see it better. So you can move the whole box around, and you can make it smaller, and you can choose the format as well, the image file format, PNG, JPEG, SVG, or even PDF, strictly not an image format. And then you click download, and you can download this part of the map. That was the share button. And we can close this window. You always have to scroll up, unless you have a much bigger screen than I have. And you can add a note to the map if you find that there's something wrong. You might know that feature from Google. Yeah, and that's all the menus I can think of to show you. Sorry, I didn't know about all of them. That just goes to show that you don't need all of them. You don't even need the plus and minus, in my opinion. You don't need the show my location in most cases. Really only the layers and the share button and the ones up here and the search bar. And you can try to figure out what these are in your own time. And thank you for watching, and I hope that helped you a bit and it wasn't too confusing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.